Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z Teens podcast. Hey, we're a program that takes a lighthearted look at generational differences about all sorts of topics. We explore all sorts of things from pop culture to history to relationships, but only at a very shallow level. We don't aim to be controversial or be the authoritative voice on anything. It's just a chance for me to talk to my teens and tell them how much cooler it was in my day versus them and how much cooler I am than them, which they totally agree all the time. Today's episode, in anticipation of the upcoming Halloween holiday, we're going to talk about horror movies. So with that, because this is the time of year when all of the horror movies are out and all the new ones are coming out, I just want to go on the record and say that I am not a horror movie guy. I was traumatized as a young child. My dad used to love horror movies, and I remember distinctly the one that really did it for me was not even a classic horror movie, but it was the movie Alien. And I was really young, and the first Alien movie where the scene where the thing jumps on the guy's face, man, that traumatized me. Later on, I attempted to be brave later as I got a little bit older, but I watched part of what's called a movie When a Stranger Calls. That totally freaked me out. I hated it. And then the original Halloween movie, I watched part of that. A babysitter put it on, and that pretty much did it. Very much later, after they'd come out, I did manage to get through the Freddy Krueger movies, or at least a couple of them. But that's about it. I do not do horrors. I do not like jump scares. I do not like any of that. So let me talk to the teens and see how they feel about it. Let's start with the older one.
I'm pretty neutral when it comes to horror movies. I mean, I'm not, I'll see one every now and then. I'm not like, some crazy fan of them, but I don't mind them either. They're definitely fun at times. I think, they can be fun. Sometimes, I struggle with them because of how dumb they sometimes are and how dumb the characters act. But if it's like a well-written horror movie and it's well done, I usually enjoy it.
All right, and now let's turn to the horror movie expert. Here you go.
So I used to like horror movies a while ago. I've kind of died down on them. I just kind of got annoyed with all the stupid stuff that was in them. Because, it's classic. Like, the characters don't go to a car, and the car never works. And it kind of got predictable after a while. But I do like ones that are, like, interesting, have an interesting plot, are well done, and have a good amount of money in it, and special effects. Those are really the only ones I watch, though.
Okay, well, I don't like any of them. And so let's see, what are your favorites? I mean, what are the ones that you like? Because you did go through a whole bunch of them.
Top 3, Smile, the first one, Saw, and say probably Halloween.
A particular version of Halloween or Saw, or you just like the whole series of them?
The first Saw movie and the first Halloween.
All right. What about you? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I haven't seen nearly as many, but I'm kind of similar. I like the Smile movie. I thought that one was really good. The other one I kind of liked was Talk to Me, which was kind of a more indie horror movie. But I thought that one was kind of good. It was a little weird at points, but I don't know. It was a good movie. And then the Saw movies usually evoke a pretty strong feeling of disgust and horror, so those are always kind of fun.
And see, you brought up the last point, the disgust. Like, I hate that stuff. Not that I'm really, like, I don't mind the sight of blood or, when I have to have a shot, I don't freak out at needles. But I just don't like misery and torture and things like that. I think that stuff just makes me, I don't know, cringe. which I guess some people like, but I don't. I mean, I can't even get past it. Doesn't the plot, like what you're talking about, being dumb or stuff like that. I mean, that's always been part of it. It's always kind of been unrealistic. But I don't like the anticipation. And it may even go back further, actually. We were talking about the movie Jaws, and my mom took me to see that movie when I was 3 years old because she had read the book. And so the book is not like a horror thing, but I do remember that music, which I guess is part of the magic of Hollywood. Just the way it's set up, the darkness, you're in a dark place, and then the things come on where you know it's coming. Man, I hate that. I hate that so much. So what is it that you do like about horror movies? Because I can't think of anything. I hate everything about them.
I think a big part is kind of the emotion that it can evoke. I mean, if you think, it's just a picture on a screen, but it can really evoke some really strong emotions. And it gives you a nice solid adrenaline rush at times. And it really kind of just, just gives you that kind of on edge, that adrenaline rush feeling that sometimes it's kind of nice.
And what did you like about them?
I like if the plot is done well, then it can be really good, but it's also really easy to mess up. And like you said, the emotions that you can feel while watching one.
So I never sleep well after I see horror type movies. What about you? I mean, does it affect how you sleep?
Not really. No, I think when I was younger, it definitely did. But now, I mean, not really, or not in a really meaningful way.
All right. What about you? Do you ever have problems sleeping for a while or getting to sleep right after watching something?
No, usually I sleep better. And I remember after I watched Smile, after I went to sleep, I remember I had this weird dream where like the weird like thing at the end with like the mouths and stuff at the very end showed up, and I just lit it on fire. So I don't know.
Okay, that's really weird, man. I just can't. Just the anxiety, and it just replays in my mind. I hate it so much.
Actually, that kind of that reminded me what he said about his dream of something that's sometimes fun with horror movies is I like to sit there and think of what I would be doing in that situation. Like you could say like Chucky, for example, just freaking take a gun and shoot that thing until it stopped moving, or something. But that can make it a lot more fun when you're watching a horror movie, and it makes it a little less scary because you're just thinking of all the ridiculous scenarios of like how you could deal with that creature, and it also makes it easier to sleep at night. So that's also kind of a fun thing you can do, especially on some of the cheesier horror movies.
Okay, so with that horror in mind, and you have something to say?
Remember one time I went to a friend's house and a bunch of us were there and we watched this like stupid horror movie. I forgot what it was called, but basically what we did is he had like a full up whiteboard, and as the movie was going, we paused it at certain points and wrote down and planned out exactly what we would do in that situation.
That's kind of fun. I could then watch a movie like that, like interactive, but just sitting there watching a horror movie, especially by myself, I could never do that. So hold on. The other thing that's tied to horror movies and the whole reason, but like haunted houses. Now we went to Universal and did their haunted houses, and you guys remember that? How did I enjoy that?
It was great pushing you in the front and making you go through all of it. It was so fun. But yeah, you did not respond well. And like, some of the more grown-up people in the room.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was really funny.
All right, so I have a bit of a high-pitched scream, and I don't like things jumping out at me, and they had tons of that. But did that affect you guys at all? Or was it just more humorous watching me? But you guys are pushing me out front, knowing that I hated that stuff.
Yeah, for someone who served in the military, you sure are a little easily frightened. But no, I mean there were a few times, in those haunted houses where they definitely got me, and those are definitely fun, and yeah, they can really get you at times. There's even a few times where they kind of had me on edge. So yeah, but they're fun, and it's definitely fun to push your friends or family in front and make them scream.
Not cool. All right, let's wrap it up. So again, for the record, I hate horror movies. I respect people that make them, and that's their thing. But man, I just can't do it. So I will always pass on whatever the latest horror movie is. What are your last thoughts? What do you have to say about anyone who is thinking about horror movies or likes horror movies? I don't know. Just what are your last thoughts?
Horror movies are fun, but they have to be done right.
All right. And what about you?
Yeah, they can definitely be a fun experience and can definitely get the adrenaline going when you need it to.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. This has been the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z teens. Everybody have fun in this month of October, getting ready for Halloween. And if horror movies are your thing, then giddy up and go get them. Enjoy. Thanks.